Hi everyone, I hope you're all well and I hope you're having a wonderful day or about to have a wonderful day. As you could probably see from the title of this video, and it's probably the reason why I came here, is to hear more about guidance. Now you will hear me a lot talking about guidance simply for the reason that I do ask for guidance a lot. And that's not for the reason of taking responsibility of like creating my day away from me. It's not for that at all. It's just as humans, we tend to create things and do new things through our past experiences. And that way we're kind of just doing the same things over and over in just slightly different way. And because I want to have completely new experiences all the time, to learn new things, to improve, I sometimes simply ask universe to lead me into something new, into something I've never experienced, and something that's going to be beneficial for me, and simply let go and simply go with the flow, do things just because I feel like doing them now, not because I know what the end result of it it's going to be, or even making these videos, I have no idea what I'm going to get out of them and if I'm ever going to get anything out of them. But I simply believe and enjoy this moment and making these videos and having this kind of even starting conversations this way, and having this kind of exchange between me or anyone who's watching. Now, to receive the guidance, we need to learn how to tap into deeper part of ourselves, into part of ourselves that's still, that's quiet, that's wise beyond our comprehension, and beyond anything that's in the physical world. And a simple way to explain that and to maybe bring it closer to you is analogy of a lake. And you probably heard this before when people are talking about meditation. But like if you imagine looking at the lake, deep lake in front of you, and seeing its surface, the surface will always have like a small waves or even big waves or any kind of outside conditions will affect it. And deeper, if you go deeper below the surface, water there is still, it has its own sounds, it has its own life, it has constant temperature, and things there are much more still, much more quiet, much more constant, and things from the outside can't really affect deep waters. And now if we take this analogy to our to us, to our bodies and souls and minds, if the surface is our mind, that means that anything that we experience through our senses will make some kind of effect on us as well. It will have some kind of influence on us. And that part of us is simply reacting on what's happening around us. However, the deeper part of ourselves has answers, know what's correct, what's not. It's simply so much more clear. It sees the surface and knows what's happening there, and how to kind of answer and calm it down. But we need to learn how to tap into that part, and that's where all the That's where all the guidance is coming from, where all the great ideas, new ideas are coming from. And that's the reason why we want to know and to learn how to use that parts of ourselves, because that parts of ourselves are actually can control senses, as opposed to being controlled by senses and by the outside world. Because so many times you'll go about your day and it's going to be busy and you're going to have so many things on your mind that you can't actually think about new things, new ideas, new experiences, because your senses are so overwhelmed by everything that's happening around you that you can't start creating something that you want, because you're constantly reacting on what's happening again around you. Some of the techniques to get the guidance and to put yourself in a state of mind where you can even receive the guidance, because so many times you actually get the guidance but you can't see it or you can't hear it, is actually trying to learn to be still and to listen is the number one skill that you want to develop to be able to receive guidance. Now, obviously, the most important thing is going to be meditation, or sitting quiet and just learning to observe and being actually, when I started making this video, I started and I kind of didn't know which words to use to explain that the best. And then I watched the video with Dr. Joe Dispenza talking about meditation that just came up on my YouTube feed. I mean, that's how accidental and things are, you know, and that's how I knew, and what confirmed also to me that I should be making this video was when I was listening to him and he said meditation, like word and sign for meditation, actually means getting familiar. And in this case, getting familiar with your unconscious, the most wise and the most powerful part of you. That's what you get through meditation, and that's how you learn your thoughts, you learn how you function, what you think of, what your thoughts are like. And then when you receive the guidance, you kind of can recognize it, because you know that's not your idea, that's not how you would usually think, those are not words or thoughts that you would usually have. That means it's a guidance. And it's almost, if we come back to our lake, it's almost like learning how to influence the surface so it's more calm as well, and how to deal with all the storms and all the winds that affect the surface, you know. The next thing or technique or the way how to develop and how to get more familiar with your unconscious part of yourself is to practice gratitude. And simply, like, especially it's very powerful if you do it in the morning before you start your day. And if you write at least 3 things that you're grateful for from the previous day, or the 3 things that you're going to be grateful in that day, it's going to put you in a state of mind where those storms, where those high winds are more unlikely to happen. It's almost, if we go back to our lake again, it's almost like adding the sunshine on your lake, you know, when there is a sun, when there is a sunshine, it's unlikely that a storm will appear. It's just, it doesn't have the right conditions, you know. There are no right conditions for a storm to come. Or even if it comes, it won't be that strong and that harmful for your lake and everything that's living in the lake. And yeah, like simply saying out loud or writing or simply even thinking about 3 things that you're grateful for can completely change the way how you see things and the way how you receive things. The next thing, and this is the one that, for example, I do just when I'm completely overwhelmed and I can't see things at all. Not just that I can't see them clearly, but I can't see them at all. That's when I start writing. And writing, it's very, very powerful, because everything you have in your mind that makes you unclear, that's like hiding all the answers from you that you need, if you put that on the paper, it's not in your mind anymore. And that's how powerful it can be. As I said, I'm not very used to doing that. I'm just starting that technique and that part of my practice, but I've learned how useful and how valuable it can be when I feel like completely when I know that any other technique won't help. I know that writing will. The next thing that I'm also discovering more and more and developing it in my own life and in my own practice is breathing. And it's specific breathing. It's breathing that's more abdominal, and that's more breathing into your belly. And you can learn it simply by putting your hand on your belly and breathing into your hand. And that way your abdomen will expand and take even more oxygen than you can receive if you're breathing, if you have thoracic type of breathing. Because that type of breathing, when you are breathing with the upper parts of your lungs, you have when you are in a state of stress, when you're in the situations people describe as fight or flight situations, that when you will start breathing like that with more like upper parts of your lungs, and simply paying attention and just coming back to your breath a few times in a day will instantly calm you down if you breathe more into your belly. And the last thing I'm going to talk today, because this is more, as I think I've already said, it's more for beginners, or let's say for people who are new to this type of work. So I won't get like too far with explaining things in this video. And that thing that I wanted to mention is the last thing is practicing mindfulness. And what that means, it's simply paying attention and paying like conscious attention on things that are happening around you and inside of you. And that could be like you walking along your street and seeing things like for the first time in your life, which means simply paying attention on what's happening around you, seeing all these buildings, all these houses around you, seeing the road, paying attention how it looks like, paying attention on your steps, how many steps you're making, simply observing them, observing trees around you, maybe some flowers, other people, seeing other people like you're seeing them for the first time, and discovering some new things probably that you've never even noticed before. Or for example, paying attention on what's happening in your body, paying attention on the, for example, temperature around you, paying attention on the clothes and the way how they're touching you, and just simply feeling them, because we rarely do that. Like, we can touch something and feel how that feels, but we almost never feel how our clothes, and they're touching us, like our clothes are touching us all the time, and we don't even notice that. Next thing is paying attention on your breath again, and just being aware how you're breathing, and if you need to correct that, you can, or you simply can just observe it. Also observing your heart rate, your heartbeats, paying attention on anything around you that's conscious, that's intentional. That means being mindful. It will again teach you to notice things around you, because simply you will see more, you will notice more, and likelihood that you actually see a new sign, it's possibility of seeing a new sign, it's so much higher than when you're just rushing and doing things because you're reacting on something. Now, guidance. I know many people are a bit afraid of meditation and a bit afraid of guidance because they think they will hear some voices in their heads or anything like that. The thing I want to explain, if you receive a guidance in form of like hearing it, you will never hear, when it comes to guidance at least, you will never hear someone else's voice. It's not going to be a voice of your angel, or voice of the universe, or voice of God, or anything like that. It's going to be your own voice. You will hear it as your own voice. Now, the difference, it's going to be probably the idea you get. You know it's not yours because you didn't even know that things like that exist. You never thought about it before. It's completely new to you, and it feels exciting. It means it's a guidance. You received it either from your angels, or from your higher self, or from the universe, from the source. Also, words used can be completely different. You almost never make sentences like that, or you almost never use that word that suddenly came to you, and that's how you know it's a guidance. Many times you won't even receive the guidance in meditation when you ask for it. It will come later when you let go of that, because if you don't let go, your mind will make so much noise asking for the answer that it won't hear the actual answer when it comes. So it usually happens when you completely let go of what you asked for, that you will actually receive the guidance. The next thing I also want to mention is you need to ask for the guidance. And if you're going into a meditation and you want simply to relax, it's more likely that you will receive some answer, but it's going to happen just if you ask for it, if you allow for it to happen, which means, again, it's intention that's important. And depending on intention you went into your meditation, that's what you're going to receive. You won't have a crazy experiences, seeing things, if you don't want that to happen, if you don't go into meditation with the purpose of that happening. So don't be afraid that if you go meditate that you will see crazy things. You won't. If you don't want to receive them, that will never happen. And when you receive for guidance, and for example you ask angels to help you, it won't happen that angel comes from the sky, from the universe, stands in front of you and tells you, you know what, this is the direction you want to go. It simply won't happen. It can, but again, for people who are asking for that, not to people who are afraid, or even they can't admit to themselves that they are afraid, but they are. Because universe feels your vibration, and they know actually if you're afraid, so they will never appear in front of you like that. They can, like, you can go about your day and suddenly hear something that's very relevant to you and what you asked for. You may read something that's very relevant for you, but like, where things will start happening repeatedly to the point where you know it's not without reason, and you kind of can't not to notice. That's how guidance comes. You can also ask for the guidance and then sit and write, and once you clear all your thoughts, answer may come. But again, intention is the main thing here. If you didn't ask for things, you won't receive them. I hope this helped. If you have any further questions, please let me know. I'm happy to answer more specific questions, because I kind of know what you are more interested in. This is me having a guidance for what to talk about. So please feel free to share your thoughts, or to ask if you want to know anything more about anything I've mentioned. What I'm also learning that I should be saying at the end of the videos is for you to please like, share, or comment, and subscribe. And I'm really hoping I'll see you in the next video, and by then, stay well. I love you all. Bye bye.